You gotta, make sure that you're being the best that you could possibly be. I love the underwriting. I love the math. The math is gonna dictate if it's a good deal. Right now, it's strictly New Jersey because all of my investments are in New Jersey. Nowadays, subcontracting out my work as needed.
Greetings, well builders. Welcome to Get Diversified, your go-to podcast for all things real estate investments.
I'm Jacqueline.
Melvin Landry. We're thrilled to embark on this wealth building journey with you.
Imagine this. What if your investments not only secure your future, but also unlock a life of financial freedom? That's what we're diving into on this show. Apartment buildings, storage facilities, mobile home parks, the whole shebang.
But here's the kicker. It's not just about investing. It's about crafting a legacy, building memories with your loved ones, and seizing every moment. Time is the currency of life. And let's be real, none of us wants to waste.
We've got the insights, experience, and dash of excitement to spice up your investing game. Plus, we'll throw in some real-life stories that'll make you see the potential in every brick and mortar.
Subscribe, buckle up, and get ready to turn your investments into the ticket to financial freedom. Together, we're not just building wealth, we're building the community of savvy investors. Let's get diversified. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Get Diversified. I'm your host, Melvin Landry, and today we got a fantastic guest. We got a mover and shaker who lives out on the East Coast. Today we have Mr. Joe Sparta. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, man. Thank you so much for having me, brother.
Good, man. Look, as I mentioned previously, Joe's moving and shaking. He's in real estate. He's underwriting. He's working on his health. He's doing a ton of things. And he's moving the needle each and every day. So, Joe, to kick things off, man, I want you to tell the listeners a little bit about you, where you're from, how you got into real estate, a little bit about your origins. Kick things off.
Awesome, man. Let's do it. I'm excited. So I'm from New Jersey. I've been in real estate since 2018. I went full-time in 2019, actually. And I've been a GC the whole time as well as an investor, getting into developments now, in addition to, the whole fix and flip stuff. So, it's been fun. It's been very busy now, getting into some bigger deals as well, which we'll get into. But yeah, New Jersey has been my hometown since I was 9. I came to, lived in Florida for a few months, and that was good. Just kind of winter birding, 4 or 5 months just for the winter. Yeah. So, it's been fun, but New Jersey is my, bread and butter, where I'm doing, a lot of my developments now and a lot of my deals.
Okay, cool. So 2018, huh?
Okay. Yep. I started, when houses were like $30,000, I see them. And then, I'm seeing them jump up like all of a sudden 60,000, 45,000, 90,000. I'm like, hey, they're overpriced. It turns out they weren't overpriced at 90,000 and 60,000. And they're like
deals.
Yeah, they went up. They went up pretty quickly. So, nowadays these houses I would buy for like, 60,000. I can't even find it at like 200,000-300,000. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy what's been happening.
Yeah.
And then 2019 with COVID and everything, and had a couple houses on the market.
Yeah. Okay.
Got my little scanner in.
Did you move them? You made a profit?
I made profit on both, and I was able to make profit on both of them. Luckily,
there you
got
go.
My little taste of real estate cycles.
Yep.
Here we are again. So it's been a fun wild ride.
Good stuff, man. Thanks for sharing that, man. So you mentioned 2018, right? You got in, right? You're going through the cycles. Let's talk about those properties that you got when you realized things were going up. What was your mindset, man? When she said you used to get them for 30, all of a sudden now it's 60, 90. Did you feel that you needed to really push the envelope to get more and more? Where was your mindset at then?
Yeah, I mean, I was, I got into the game just being really ambitious. I wanted to do as many deals as I possibly can. Had a hard time finding deals. So I'm like, hey, let me just be my own GC, right? So, hired one guy. I actually just started running day labor crews, and I didn't really know much construction. I did construction for a couple of weeks here and there with a buddy of mine, nothing crazy. Yeah. I ended up just getting one guy, found another guy literally across the street, and I'm like, hey, man, you looking for some work? Poached the guy pretty much, more or less, but he got stiffed by the contractor. I paid him good, so he was going to leave him anyways. And then just got a couple guys from Home Depot. We knocked out the house pretty quickly at that time, like 30 days. So I thought it was like, 30 days, I was taking a long time. Actually, it was a really quick flip with a partner of mine, made some good money on that. And I'm like, hey, let me just keep repeating the same business model with my day labor crews. just doing these houses as fast as possible. Got to learn a ton about, electrical, plumbing, because I had to manage them myself.
Yep.
Depending on what work we were doing and stuff like that. And, got into some bigger flips, and then eventually, got out of the day labor stuff. It was just, pretty time consuming, and, you could go over time, could go over budget if you're not really on top of them. So nowadays, subcontracting out my work as needed, and I'm getting into, aside from the fix and flips, doing a 2-family ground up development, and, some bigger stuff, which we'll get into. But yeah, I was ambitious, to answer your question, just wanted to go, do as many deals as possible, as safely as possible.
Okay. Cool. That's good. Progression along the way, which is cool and always key. So, man, so you think about, man, I mean, what's the biggest flip you've done, man? You want to kind of share that experience? How much, the amount of time it took? Was the net profit at the end of the day?
Yeah, I mean, I had one really good flip. I made, like almost 100,000 in like basically 30 days. So nice. I had a 3,000 square foot house. We closed, went on the contract, went in there, had my day labor crews just knocking everything out. So we did it really quickly within 30 days. We had a buy literally the next day.
Nice.
More or less. So, it took a month to close. Those 2 months, really smooth deal. Nice 90K profit. I think it was 90, not exactly 100. So that was a good deal. And there's a couple more like these that come along. There was one property, for instance, when I was first starting out. Things were cheaper. Bought at 90,000. Now you're not gonna buy it at 200,000-300,000, but bought it at 90,000, put like 60 into it, and then sold it like 270, basically. Actually, that was during COVID. So it was something happened, fell out of contract, and we ended up selling it like 255.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, nice. So,
flipping can be done. And that house actually, the one I just mentioned, is the reason I left graduate school. So I was doing my graduate degree in physics, and I'm like, okay, I'm busting my ass here, doing like 120-hour weeks, and I'm very passionate, but you start getting attracted to the idea of money, you start getting attracted to the idea of freedom. So that's when I made the jump to just go full time into real estate in 2019.
So thanks to real estate, you left graduate school. You told us, I mean,
yeah,
look, there's nothing wrong with that. You mentioned leaving graduate school. I had a similar path because I was, I have 3.5 degrees. I'm a dissertation away from a doctorate. Nice. I just decided, look, enough's enough. I could never make enough money teaching at how many schools, and I've taught at 5-6 schools at one time in the adjunct capacity. But I mean, look, man, you flip one house, and you could make just as much money flipping one house as teaching at 4 or 5 schools during a semester, or even more, right? So totally understand, and I fully support your decision. And look, it's helping fuel where you're at today. You're rolling, you're making moves, and I'm seeing you out there. I'm watching you, man, in terms of the progress and the growth that you're kind of going with, man. So, man, let's talk about your mindset, man, in terms of, you start off in real estate, you appear to be relatively young. What fuels the fire, man, to your mindset, man? Because you're doing a lot, you've done well, you've gotten results, you've gotten a lot of wins. Where's your mindset at, man, as you kind of even progress even to today? You want to kind of share what fuels Joe's fire, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely just like a competitive mindset, I like to say it's just me just being ambitious when I was young, but also like just sports, like playing wrestling, 1v1, you gotta go out there and you gotta win the match, right? You gotta, make sure that you're being the best that you could possibly be, because it's all on you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think I carried that competitive mindset as well from sports, because I was always into sports. But my parents always told me, like, hey, you could achieve something really big. You can do whatever you set your mind to. So that kind of stuck with me. So I always had some type of big goals, starting out from I would say like end of senior year, like kind of like going into college.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be the best that I can be in what I set my mind to, which at that time was, hey, I want to be, one of the best physicists of all time, or whatever the case is, and I was, top performing student in undergrad. I was top performing in grad school, but I knew I wasn't I kind of reached my ceiling, my limits. So I got attracted into, a business because I was, we're seeing, Elon Musk is doing, Jeff Bezos is doing. So it's kind of interesting. There's a whole other field out there that I can go and be competitive in, where I haven't like kind of reached my ceiling per se. And I know that I could, it's kind of an exciting journey because I could go and climb up the ladder that way. So, in the end of the day, it's just really just trying to be the best that I can be at something and just kind of pushing myself and, climbing up the ladder.
Okay. Hey, man, mindset, your greatest asset, and taking action. That's what you did, right? You took action, you realized you saw opportunity, you took action, and you grew with it. And that's great to see, man. As hopefully the listeners are kind of picking up on it, man. So you're very motivated. Yeah, I can tell. You're very, very, very driven. You're action-oriented. Look, you get in there, you get it done, and you're looking for opportunities, I know even before the show we talked about, hundreds of deals you've underwritten, and just continuously underwriting, looking for that right opportunity at the end of the day. So it's good to see, man. It's good to kind of hear, man, and kind of take focus of your drive, man, because I see what you're doing out there, man, in the marketplace and kind of what you're doing and the motivation. So I see it. And I commend you for that. So, let's fast forward to today, man. I see you do a lot of underwriting. Where would you say you're in industrial? I see you out there looking at and evaluating industrial opportunities as well. What's your core? What are you working on and stirring up as of in this year, the next 6 to 12 months? What's on the radar for you?
Yeah. Well, my passion's in development, so I really love development, new construction. Ever since, when I was young and, got hit on the head by some guy doing construction with like 30 foot, piece of 2x4. I saw this building coming up and they weren't too, big on safety in Egypt. Joking aside, I was kind of attracted to the new construction, seeing these like skyscrapers go up or these big buildings go up. Something very interesting about it for me personally. So development's my bread and butter. I'm always, looking and underwriting at development deals. I've underwritten a ton of existing multifamily deals, but development just kind of really excites me. Also just being in the construction industry as well, because there's tons of construction that goes behind it. And, in terms of what I'm up to, yes, we're doing, 2 deals right now. One's industrial and one is a multifamily with a couple of partners. So one's a industrial, 86,000 square foot flex industrial site.
Okay.
Been sitting on 10 acres that we're doing in Central Jersey. And another one's a 4-unit ground up multifamily that we're doing in a prime area as well in northern New Jersey, prime area. Journal Square in Jersey City. So these are a couple of deals that I'm working on that we have under contract. One's PSA is finalized. The other one we're working on a PSA. Okay. So at the end of the day, it just took a lot of persistence, right? So I was telling you before the show, last year I went through like 1,000 deals probably, maybe being too conservative, too maybe passing up on a couple of good deals here and there, but it pays if you're in it for the long term. It pays to be, extra careful as well going into the deals. And, frankly speaking, a lot of the sellers who are just not meeting eye to eye, they haven't been hurting yet. They haven't been feeling the kind of desperation yet and just trying to sell for top dollar. So, I could have quit along the way and just say, hey, look, I've been trying this for a year or whatever the case is, looking for deals. Let me, throw in the gloves or the towel or whatever the phrase is, but I just kept persistent and just kept looking at deals and
wavered. You're unwavered, man. And guess what? You're getting diversified. You're in flex industrial, in multifamily, from development, from ground up. So you're moving and shaking in this space, man, which is good to see. Hey, man, so let's talk about, think about 12, 24 months, man. You got 2 projects going, 2 substantial projects. What's the limit for you, man? Do you see yourself taking on more projects concurrently while these other deals are going on? Or do you like to kind of limit it to 2, maybe say 3, things of that nature? Where's the limits, Joe?
Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work, right? So we're taking on deals as a part of a team. So it's not all on me. So I'm not, nervous and saying, hey, look, let me only limit myself to 1 deal. Let me only limit to myself to 2 deals. I don't have that, limited mindset or anything like that. So the more the merrier. I would like to, get like 1 deal a month would be like obviously perfect if I can.
Yeah.
It's a good stretch goal for me. And again, you're taking on these deals with a team member. So let's say you have, for instance, like an asset manager on a team or what have you, so you can have the bandwidth to do more and more deals, right? So if you have a boots on the ground partner, for instance, right, you could easily do 10, 12 deals a year. It's no reason to kind of limit yourself. So
Totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, so the mindset, if you have, each deal being worth after development like 20 mil, right? For instance, you do 10 of these deals, then you're at 200 mil, right? So right now, the 2 deals under contract are basically, one is a 20 mil development, a little bit over 20 mil, another one's 12, 13 mil. So I would say 10% there or so in terms of my goals. We have 2 deals. I wouldn't even say in terms of like dollar amount either, right? If I get, close to 1 deal a month, right, then I'll be happy. Now, is that easy to find? No. Is it necessarily realistic? Perhaps.
Yep.
Right? But it's a good stretch goal to have in mind and just kind of keep pushing yourself and always thinking like, how can I make this happen? So then your brain is trying to figure out ways, I could take on more partners, right? Maybe, we need a couple of different partners on a team. Then your brain is looking forward, trying to see how it can make that happen. Then you start taking strategically. So it's good to have a stretch goal in mind.
Stretch goal. It's always key, right? 1 deal a month, right? Is enough to keep you, in terms of the potential margin, right? Enough to keep you busy, and as well as kind of keep the progression going in terms of growing your overall portfolio. So, hey, Joe, I got a question for you, man. So I know you're hardcore in New Jersey, right? That's where your boots on the ground at. I mean, do you invest in other states, or you kind of stick strictly to the New Jersey area?
Right now, it's strictly New Jersey because all of my investments are in New Jersey. Fix and flips, small developments, the big developments I just mentioned now. I am looking for deals in other states. Okay. We've looked in Florida, I've looked in North Carolina. I've built an extensive broker network in New Jersey. Okay. So and I know the market a little bit better. And, in some areas it is pretty competitive as well in New Jersey, but, it's also very competitive elsewhere too.
It's true.
In Florida too, it's hard to make sense of a lot of the deals. And, everything here is local. I know the area like the back of my hands, but I'm definitely, we're big on some other areas. I know like Georgia's interesting, for instance, North Carolina, and Florida. The Panhandle for me is very interesting for me and my partners as well.
Right.
In a couple different states, and we'll see what we can grab up. As long as I'm a numbers guy, right? I was double majoring in physics and math in undergrad, and I was doing my graduate degree. So for me, it's numbers. The state is also important, right? I have access to CoStar, but we're also looking at the numbers for the states too. But at the end of the day, the information or the data from the state, you're looking like population growth, for instance, income. You're looking at like rent growth, occupancy, vacancies, all that stuff. You're feeding that into your model, right? Yep. So if the math is going to dictate, the data is going to dictate the math, and the math is going to dictate if it's a good deal. So if it ends up being one in South Carolina, North Carolina, I'll do the deal all day. Even partner up with someone else who could be the boots on the ground.
Okay. And Joe, I mean, hey, you're a GC, right? You do a lot of underwriting as well. What's your favorite, man? Tell why. Just curious.
I love the underwriting. I love the math. GCing is fun and everything, and it's actually fun when it's going good, right? But construction is not always smooth. You're always going to deal, even if you dealt with the same contractor over and over. Maybe one time they've taken on too many projects compared to like before, or maybe sometimes you have to fire someone even though they've done good before. Maybe you're trying out someone new and you don't know what to expect, or you have some kind of delay. So I think like construction side is kind of like a love-hate relationship. And then the underwriting side for me is pretty fun because there's so much that you have to do. You're working on all these numbers, you're talking to the brokers, you're underwriting these deals. It's really using a lot of your higher cognitive skills because you're really thinking like, hey, this is a big deal, $20-30 million deal. This has to be right. So using a lot of your higher cognitive skills, trying to underwrite, make sure all your dots and T's are crossed perfectly. You're, double, triple checking your comms. You're kind of thinking in so many minute details, even with the comms, just one aspect. You can spend usually 20-30 minutes So there's a lot of thinking involved versus, in construction. There's some thinking involved, but it's kind of like, it's a lot of phone calls or a lot of driving and say, hey, a lot of babysitting.
Yeah.
Call X guy, call Y guy, make sure they're on schedule, make sure they're not on schedule. So it can be fun and it can be not fun. And the underwriting part is always fun.
Gotcha. So thinking about, man, from a GC standpoint, I mean, you've dealt with a lot of subs, a lot of issues, a lot of attitudes, I'm sure, over the years, right? What would you say is the biggest risk, man, in the GC world? What would you say?
There's definitely tons of risks. It's definitely the toughest part of the business, I would say, like the asset management / GC side, construction side.
Yeah.
I mean, for one thing, just first of all, the biggest risk is not knowing what you're doing. That's bar none. You hear stories about, people, they buy a building or something and maybe they don't understand the construction. Like I could expect, properties myself, even if I wanted to, but
yeah,
they don't understand something specific, or they didn't get the inspection properly done, or what have you, or they don't have a plan B. So for instance, some guy, comes in and they're like, yeah, you need to replace all the gas. It's going to cost you $80,000, and maybe you don't need to do it for $80,000. Maybe you could, you have your own subcontractor crews. You could get much better pricing. Maybe it's going to cost you like $20,000, $40,000. Maybe it's a smaller, not a big job like you think it is. Maybe someone will, make a fool out of you. Maybe someone will ask for a large upfront deposit, and then screw you out of it. So there's so many things. There's so many management risks, timeline, people not showing up on time, you not drafting the contract properly. There's no like accountability. There's no like, let's say like late fees, or you don't know what to do. You don't know if you should fire them fast enough. Again, like people just trying to make a fool out of you. They're just saying some things knowing that you don't know better.
Yeah.
You just don't know better.
True.
And I have to do that all the time. I have to just, kind of tell them, hey, look, I understand the business. Frankly, like often speaking, I could just do their job if I wanted to, myself. So that kind of helps like skirt some of the BS that you get in the business. And, I'm a contractor, but I like to joke around and say like the first 3 letters of the word contractor is con, C-O-N.
True.
It's true. A lot of,
be mindful.
There's a lot of bad weeds. You have to be really careful. So, contractors can be, not one of the bigger pains and, one of the bigger risks. And then, other risks are, let's say you have a single tenant, single family house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have one tenant not paying. That's 100% vacancy.
Vacancy.
Somebody comes in, for instance, and they say, hey, I'm making $200 a month cash flow. Their boiler goes out, or their roof. They need to,
there goes your profit. There goes your net profit.
Yeah, now they got quoted $20,000 for a roof, for instance, right? You don't need to do it for $20,000, but they got quoted for $20,000. You took that bid, and the $200 a month cash flow is not looking so good. So
not at all, not at all. So very well stated. I mean, you shared some insights on the risk, and I mean, look, it's good to be a savvy investor, but to be a kind of risk aware and try to be as risk averse as possible. So totally get and understand that. So thanks for sharing that, man. Let's talk about, look, I see you out there working on your health, man. Health's a big deal, appears to be a big deal to you and your journey and your growth trajectory as you're kind of moving forward and pushing things along. Want to kind of share kind of what you're doing from a health standpoint, man, to kind of make sure you're sharp and crisp and you're out there kind of pounding the pave to make the progress that you want to make?
Definitely. Well, number one, like health is wealth, and taking care of your health is like the most important thing you can do in real estate, because real estate is all about longevity, and you want to feel good. You want to, obviously like, being in good shape too actually helps with business as well.
Yep.
But you want to be a well-rounded person, even if it's not just for business, just do it for yourself. So I like to exercise daily, frankly speaking, just because, it's a habit as well. Right. But I do a lot of it also because of productivity. I know that exercising can be very, very good for productivity in some cases. So let's say, for instance, you need to knock out a 12-hour day. You do your 9 to 5 or whatever your hours are, and, you're getting kind of tired or whatever the case is. You want to get a second wind, right? As they say in running, second wind. So, you could go do your exercise, get into the right state of mind, and then do your second day, right? In a day, right? or your second half of the day, if you want to say it that way. But also, like, exercising is just really good to get your mindset right.
Yeah, totally
in
agree.
my opinion, because there's a lot of, I mean, if you're into like personal development, so if you're into like affirmations, or if you're into, actualizing your dreams, right? You could, visualize or think about what you want to achieve while you're exercising, or you could visualize yourself as you already have achieved it. For instance, this is something you could do, like doing running or walking on a treadmill. You could repeat certain phrases to yourself. So you could also use it as a tool to kind of get your mindset right. And frankly, it just, it's really fun, right? If you're doing it for, a month consistently, right?
Yep.
It's just, you cannot not do it. At that point, it becomes something that's like a staple of your day. So you get into it, because it's important. But once you get into it for, months straight, then you're kind of like, now it's a must. It's a must for the day. You feel good. Some days you can kind of skip a day or something like that. But if you're, working really hard, you're skipping, a lot of days, or you don't work out at all, you're kind of like, killing yourself slowly, right?
It's up to you.
There's so many health complications that everyone's coming across just because they're not exercising, and the body was created to exercise. We're created to move. If you look at just on neurobiology, our neurophysiology, if you look at just our biology in general and how our system works, it's literally working to move, right? Just look at all the neural pathways throughout your whole body.
Yeah.
Right. Your body, your nervous system is literally made to move. So if you're taking that out, think about all of the things that's just going to go out of whack, right? So exercising is not like, a privilege. It's a necessity. That's the way I think about it. Something that you're supposed to do, that you have to do. And a lot of the negative health effects comes because you didn't really take care of your body the way you're supposed to.
Yeah, that's a very good point, man. To all the listeners out there, look, your health ties into your wealth. I mean, what good if you're wealthy if you're not healthy to celebrate with the family and the loved ones that you want to kind of live for at the end of the day. So that's a good rules of justice to live by, and hopefully everyone is kind of taking action as well. But again, it's about taking that first step, right? Having the mindset to be able to kind of want to go ahead and do it. I'm a runner, so I've been running all my life. I ran in college, and I still even run to this day and make sure, trying to keep the joints going, man, because we're not getting any younger. And time, that's the most precious asset we got, man. It's time. So, Joe, thanks for sharing that, brother. I appreciate it, man. So, look, how can folks find you? I mean, website, social media handles. Won't you share some information for the listeners, man, so folks can find you? Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So you could follow me on Instagram, Invest with Joe Sparta. You could also find me on Facebook as well. Just type in facebook.com/Joe Sparta 300. You could find me on my website, Sparta Capital Investments. .com, obviously. I shouldn't say obviously, but that's common. And then you could also find me at my email if you need to reach me as well, joe@SpartanInvestments, .info. joe@SpartanInvestments.info.
Sounds good, man. Well, look, we will put those in the show notes, and we will articulate that accordingly. So, Joe, man, look, man, fantastic discussion, man. I'm glad I got a chance to kind of understand what more you're working on, where your passion's at. And look, man, you've gotten some darn good wins over the years, man, with these fix and flips, man. So you're killing the game, man. So listeners, take notice. This guy is a mover and a shaker. I mentioned it before. I'm gonna mention it again. So, Joe, on behalf of myself, my wife Jackie, and the More Land Equity team, brother, thanks for joining the show, man. We really appreciate you, bro.
Thank you so much. Definitely a pleasure being here, and appreciate the opportunity and the time with you.
You got it.
Bye.
Jacqueline and Melvin, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to listen to this episode of Get Diversified. Please make sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on future episodes. Finally, stop by our website and follow us on social media. Ciao for now. Make it a great day, and we'll see you next time. And remember, get diversified.